See, this is why sometimes you got to learn to leave people alone and mind your own damn business. This is exactly why. You bark up the wrong tree, it might just fall on you.
Officially, Angel Reese has reached her breaking point. When Caitlin Clark was pampered like a queen in the middle of Chicago, everything went haywire. Fans cheered like it was a homecoming procession as soon as Clark entered the arena. Selfies, chants, and unceasing applause. It would seem as though Michael Jordan entered the room. Angel, meanwhile, watched from the sidelines, her eyes flaming but her lips shut. It's much more than simply a rivalry now. This is a personal matter that is getting out of hand. Because if you devote all of your efforts to criticizing others, don't be shocked if you are completely ignored. That's precisely what took place here. While Reese was trapped in the shadows, Caitlin Clark swept into Angel Reese's city and completely changed the mood like a hurricane in sneakerheads.
Orders, well, they're about to come for Ice Cube. They're about to come and get Ice Cube. We know how this works. It won't be long.
This matchup wasn't your typical one. In late July 2025, the Indiana Fever played the Chicago Sky. Furthermore, Caitlin Clark took over after arriving in Chicago. The whole mood was electrifying, reminiscent of a film. And the excitement is genuine. The expression, pull up to your trap and take over your trap. It was more than just a pub. It was a headline made vivid, because Clark did precisely that. She entered hostile territory and created a sense of familiarity. There were fans everywhere, trying to get a peek of her by running through aisles and scaling rows. In the best way possible, it was anarchy. People yelling, holding up phones, and waving placards as if they were seeing a legend. To get her autograph, one admirer even staggered down from the nosebleeds, his face wounded and everything. Marketing isn't that. It truly is star power. And all of it belongs to Caitlin Clark.
This is what Ice Cube had to say. This is directly from Cube himself. With Caitlin Clark, it was just to unlock millions of dollars for the league. They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese, so I don't know if we can make that same offer.
No, this wasn't a phony public relations campaign. No cameras were rolling for a promo, and no interns were set up to cheer. Standing in the heat were true fans. Some people waited more than 3 hours to sign Caitlin Clark's autograph. Pure loyalty, no preferential treatment or backstage credentials. Because folks turn out when Caitlin pulls up. She possesses that unique charm, the kind of star power that is uncommon, particularly in the WNBA, is not demonstrated here. Where was Angel Reese in the interim? She recently lit up Indiana's All-Star Weekend as the face of Reebok. She was visible everywhere on billboards and in promotional advertisements. The attention was squarely on her, and she was displaying that trap energy. However, after only a few weeks, it seemed as though the attention had moved. Reese was hardly noticed at Angel's own city, where Caitlin Clark was being surrounded by fans. That had to burn, too.
Ice Cube. Because Ice Cube has come out and given everybody some brutal truth, and there is a portion of this that just tells you everything that we've been telling you. This is just confirmation.
During Caitlin Clark's hectic time in Chicago, word quickly began to circulate. According to reports, Angel Reese relied on manufactured promotional photos. Images of her encircled by what appeared to be paid extras dressed as fans, all attempting to emulate the real thing, surfaced. Online fans, however, weren't duped. They criticized every frame, pointed it out, and made scathing analogies to Clark's enormous organic fan base. Loud, devoted, and unquestionably.
And then we got Ice Cube bombing on Angel Reese, talking about, man, she's not worth the money that Caitlin Clark was worth. Caitlin Clark unlocked millions for the WNBA. Oh, we gonna get into all of that.
Then the video came down. Angel Reese sobbing as she leaves the court. And this was more than a little annoyance. She seems truly shaken. She didn't have to speak. Her body language made it very clear. The atmosphere had changed. It didn't feel like her city anymore. The crowd was aware of it as well. That unwavering spirit of the queen. It appeared to be broken. Since the opponent the media has been putting you up against arrives in your town and receives the celebrity treatment you were meant to get, how can you maintain your crown? This was not just about numbers. This has to do with power, pride, and perception. Social media didn't hold back either. Memes, barbaric, vicious hashtags, deposed queen, city taken, preferential treatment. Not everyone was merely observing Caitlin Clark win a match. They observed her stealing the show.
So, Ice Cube, you see the headline from TMZ. Sorry, Angel Reese, the $5 million offer was only for Caitlin Clark.
And this is where the stinging begins. Angel Reese has been putting a lot of effort into creating her own legacy so that she can be recognized for who she is. But Caitlin Clark's shadow always follows her, regardless of what she does. This competition began in college and has since grown to be the standard by which they measure all of their actions. Every game becomes a Caitlin versus Angel contest. Not Fever versus Sky. Not Indiana versus Chicago. Only them. Two women thrust into such strong limelight that it doesn't seem like any of them requested it.
Business is business, and the men lie, women lie, the numbers don't. It is as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
However, Caitlin Clark didn't want attention this time. It located her. The United Center was illuminated. The throng reverberated with her name. Fan clothing, posters, and placards all featured her visage permanently. Angel Reese, meanwhile, left the court in silence, presumably attempting to comprehend how fast the script had changed. If you've been in Reese's position, you know that it wasn't easy to watch because of her talent. She isn't a nobody. However, she wasn't Caitlin Clark at that very moment. Chicago also informed her about it.
And what's hilarious is, this is confirmation from the people that want to pay the money. Sponsors. Oh man, Angel Reese fans are gonna be pissed.
Angel Reese was right to call it out. Let's face it. Caitlin Clark was beginning to shine in a different way at that time. She sold out arenas night after night, led in jersey sales, and was the face of every headline. The crowd brightened each time she touched the ball. She was surrounded by an aura and energy that were impossible to ignore. However, people soon began to pose considerably more complex queries. Was Angel truly punished for her actions or because of the person she harmed? Ice Cube arrives just as the fire is beginning to subside and douses everything in petrol. Yes, we should discuss this.
Ice Cube makes it clear Angel Reese's worth isn't close to Caitlin Clark's. Speaking to TMZ this week, the rapper turned league founder explained that the snub wasn't personal, but it was business. That's all it is, business. Y'all gonna make it personal though.
Thus, it comes as a complete surprise when Ice Cube, the renowned rapper, actor, and creator of the Big Three basketball league, makes a $5 million offer for Caitlin Clark. The offer includes half-court games, off-season grind, joining the Big Three, and no actual pressure. After securing the bag, return to the W. Despite being grateful, Clark politely declined. "Thank you, but I'm all right." She was back on the WNBA schedule in an instant. However, as soon as the news spread, a completely new query went viral on the internet. Hold on a second. Where is the offer from Angel Reese?
TMZ Sports caught up with Ice Cube himself at LAX this week, and the Big Three honcho said that there will be no deal put in front of Angel Reese anytime soon.
Did she receive the same type of paycheck? Was Ice Cube prepared to give her that amount of money as well?
Listen to the following, Angel Reese fans. Ice Cube told us sponsors assured him Clark coming to his organization would rake in cash hand over fist.
Ice Cube didn't hold back either. "We saw millions of potential with Caitlin Clark," he stated bluntly. With Angel, that simply wasn't the case. Honest but icy. No animosity, no gunfire, just business. That one remark, however, was quite hurtful. Angel Reese was pulled into a discussion she didn't initiate once more. She didn't request that deal. She didn't even get the opportunity to speak for herself. Though, as her value was somehow being disputed in the national media.
What happened to Miss Angel Reese? She's all in Indiana during All-Star, and her Reebok campaign, come to your trap, take over your trap. What happened to that? Because it looked like Caitlin Clark went to Chicago and took the city over.
The timing was what made it even more striking. After Caitlin Clark set Chicago on fire and Angel Reese sobbed as she exited the court, all of this commotion began. Thus, it was more than just a hard defeat on the scoreboard. In addition, she was losing ground in the spotlight game, drawing criticism from the press, and presumably losing out on some big agreements. On every level, both personally and terribly publicly, it seemed like a loss.
It looked like she took the city over. She took your trap over. Caitlin Clark, it was more fans running. They was running down on Caitlin Clark like she was Michael Jordan. CC with MJ. CC get treated like MJ in the rack. Oh my God.
Nothing was walked back by Ice Cube. He actually maintained his position in subsequent interviews, declaring, "I'm not here to lose money." And in all honesty, that's what it boils down to. Enterprise. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon, but Angel Reese is a star. She's not merely amassing victories. She is shattering ratings records, filling venues, and rewriting broadcast deals. And trust me when I say that the decision makers are listening carefully.
Caitlin Clark getting treated like Derrick Rose, Michael Jordan, Chief Keef, Lil Durk, all of them. Caitlin Clark took over Chicago. She signed autographs for hours.
Caitlin Clark is the center of attention, whether it's foul calls, headlines, or multi-million-dollar transactions. Additionally, Angel Reese is constantly drawn into the insanity that surrounds everything.
This wasn't no extras that was paid to come stand in the scene. No, these were real people trying to get autographed.
Let's go on to the section that caused the internet to go completely crazy. Fan conflicts, popular hashtags, and complete chaos. Social media became a battlefield with more ferocity than a playoff fight in the 1990s. And in the midst of the chaos, Angel Reese was watching the spotlight she created when Caitlin Clark stole it away from her.
Get her a Harold's Chicken membership. Mild sauce. Give Caitlin Clark all the mild sauce she want. She running Chicago, the queen of the rack. The biggest Barbie.
The clips were shown to you. Everyone did. The whole city seemed to stop when Caitlin Clark arrived in Chicago for All-Star Weekend. She took charge instead of just showing up. Fans couldn't get enough of Chief Keef, Derrick Rose, and Michael Jackson because it seemed like they had all combined into one. As if she were handing out golden tickets, the audience was going crazy and chasing her down. One man even rushed down from the nosebleeds while screaming her name and spat blood. It's not hyperbole. His face was truly bleeding.
All these fans, man. See what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just got to understand your place sometimes. Look, they talking about Caitlin Clark took over Angel Reese's trap. See, this is why you don't need to keep trying to take shots at her. She took the city over.
At that point, the entire story of America's sweetheart versus the trap queen erupted. Who played well was no longer the only consideration. The stakes were crowds, prestige, and civic pride. In Chicago, people were stating quite bluntly, she pulled up and owned her block. And since this was meant to be Angel Reese's moment, her city, and her limelight, that hurt hard. But Caitlin Clark once again stole the show, rather than headlines claiming that Reese hosts All-Star Weekend. The internet is brutal. Angel made an effort to act composed. Side selfies, cryptic Instagram postings, and captions that resemble passive-aggressive Drake lyrics. I'm actually cool, but I'm keeping an eye on energy. Fans, however, weren't duped. The comment sections became battlefields. She appeared shaken, sidestepping the pressure and absorbing heat from all sides, according to people.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I don't know how you could ever imagine, like, how can you compete with this? Come on, just leave it alone, Angel. And this is why I'm saying, you be making yourself look crazy Because
timing
in all
was what made
actuality, there's
everything
no
extra
comparison between
uglier.
you guys.
It was more than just stacking highlights for Caitlin Clark. Overnight, she was securing TV deals, stacking endorsements, and essentially taking on the role of WNBA spokesperson. Angel Reese is missing important games in the meantime. That certainly didn't help. It provided everyone with the ammunition they required to begin making connections. Hold on, is she truly hurt, or is she merely avoiding the side-by-side comparison?
You need to stop trying to attach yourself to this girl at every turn, because she has officially come to your trap and taken over your trap. Look at all of the fans coming from all over.
That theory gained a lot of traction. Fans began to ask, is Angel Reese stacking games when Caitlin Clark isn't playing just to avoid being part of the ratings drop? Because ABC isn't airing these games for charity, let's not fool ourselves. They plan them for when they anticipate the numbers would be high. And the majority of those viewers are currently supporting Clark.
This is why I say, Angel Reese, you need to stop trying to attach yourself to this girl at every turn, because you cannot measure up. You don't have as many followers you have on Instagram. That is great. I will not take away from the fact that you are one of the bigger brands in the WNBA. You are a star in your own right, but you are not Caitlin Clark. It's a difference.
When you add an Ice Cube's interview, it's like adding salt to an already open wound. They told us Caitlin would bring in millions, the man stated bluntly. He did not say it about Angel, as you can see. Sponsors were also paying attention. Why would Gatorade, Nike, or any other company continue to send her large checks if Cub isn't giving her a comparable offer? One of the WNBA's most well-known and marketable players, Angel Reese, is now observing a shift in attention, but it isn't going in her direction. She deserved her shine. Let's face it, so that hurts. She started from scratch when creating her brand. When the league desperately needed personality, she provided it. However, this is where things went awry. Angel fell into this trap, even though she didn't intend to. She became trapped reacting to everything, and was compared to Caitlin Clark all the time. And it only served to reinforce the story around her with each dubious caption, clapback, and covert insult. In actuality, she is no longer in need of that drama. Because you have the talent and presence to succeed without comparison, as the astute people have noted. Keep the vision, Angel. Perhaps it's time to let your game speak for itself.
She's not the draw, folks. I don't know how else to say it. Quote, I don't know if we can make that same offer. Cube initially sent the offer Clark's way when she was an Iowa Hawkeye. She would have only needed to have played in 8 regular season games and potentially 2 playoff games to earn the absorbent amount of cash.
Let's face it, Angel Reese isn't just a fortunate rookie. Week after week, she continues to level up and is a legitimate starter. Her game is self-evident. She doesn't have to continue playing the antagonist in other people's fairy tales, nor does she need to pursue Caitlin Clark's shadow. However, she will only continue to be held back on the stat sheet and in the spotlight if she continues to associate her brand with this particular competition. The true question today is, what kind of person does Angel Reese wish to be known for? A baller with unquestionable skill, or someone mired in a bitter feud that no longer benefits her? Because she isn't slowing down, Clark. She is not looking sideways or clapping back. She is focused, filling venues, improving her stats, and changing the course of the WNBA in real time. Angel, meanwhile, appears to be caught in the same pattern, continuing to make an effort to prove something that, in all honesty, she may no longer need to. For more unvarnished truth, where the hoopla ends and the facts take center stage, hit the subscribe button.